Hi, here we go. Welcome to episode 7 of the Mel-Tran Designs Knitting Corner. I'm your host, Melissa, also known as Ananzi on Ravelry and on Plurk and Twitter. I am Mel-Tran Designs. We also have a group on Ravelry called Mel-Tran Designs. Please come join us. The conversation has started picking up a little bit, so please come join in and tell us what you think. Today is, well, in 5 minutes, it will be January 22nd, 2013. I'm recording a little bit late because my kids were out of school today and I just didn't want to deal with it. My husband and my oldest went up skiing and snowboarding, and I just didn't want to mess with it with the other two younger ones here. So anyways, welcome if you are a new viewer, which most of you are because this is only episode 7, but I know I've had a lot more people subscribe to my YouTube channel and introduce themselves, if not on the group, to me privately, either on Plurk or on Ravelry. So welcome to all of you, and thank you for all of you who are returning for wanting to spend some time with me. So, happenings this week. Sorry, my furnace is going in the background and it'll probably be going the whole time, so I'll try to talk over it. It still is in the single digits pretty much all the time, so it's really cold. Happenings this week. Well, a big thing that happened this week is I decided to go to the Zombie Knitpocalypse. If you don't know what that is, it is the retreat that's being put on by Megan and Amy of the Stockinette Zombies. It's going to be in Minnesota in June. So if you are going, please tell me that you're going so I know to look for you, and maybe we can get to know each other a little bit more beforehand. And if you're not going, you should look into it because it's really inexpensive and the marketplace is going to be amazing and it's going to be tons of fun. Lots of knitting, lots of talking, lots of buying new fun things. So anyways, if you're interested, go over to the Stockinette Zombies group. Well, there's an actual group for it called the Zombie Knitpocalypse group as well. So anyways, I was able to get in on 2 VKNs this week, one on Tuesday that Kelly from the Charming Locky podcast hosts, and she was in there, and Knitting Natter podcast host Zena was in there, Heather from Highland Handmaids, Fiberista Files, Briar, Edith, I think, was in on that one. Anyway, a couple other people. Sorry, it was almost a week ago now, so I'm kind of spacing out on who else was there. The next day, on Wednesday, I was able to get in on my first one with Helen from the Knitting 365 podcast. Her and her husband Peter both knit, and they were in there, and that was a lot of fun. And oh, Mary was in there too. Mary Gale. She has Spartacus Dies. Sorry, Mary. I did remember. She's on Etsy, and she's going to be a vendor up at Zombie Knitpocalypse as well. Anyways, they were on Wednesday, and it's great because they have it set up as virtual knit night because they're over a few hours ahead of me, but it ends up being noon my time, so it's great because the girls are at school. It's just me and Eli, so he kind of runs around and comes and says hi and wants to be in the picture. And anyway, we have a lot of fun, and it's really great getting to talk to people in so many different countries. So anyways, if you friend either of them on Plurk, they will announce what time the VKN starts. Sorry, I don't mean to be twitchy. I just something in my eye and then my neck is itching. And anyways, the VKNs are fun, so try to get in on one if you can. Let's see what else. I had my first class of the year start, which is the Thrummed Mittens, and that's great. I have 5 students, and we have a lot of fun, and it was great to see them again after our Christmas break that we took, and they are all doing fantastic with their progress, and that's always nice to see as a teacher. We are going to be doing another class next month that is the Stitch Surfer socks that are from Knitty. So if you live around here and you're interested, let me know and I can get you more details. Let's see. Episode 6 in less than a week, had over 120 views. And that's just the ones that actually went to YouTube to watch it. I know that on Plurk, you can actually watch it right in the pop-up window, and also on the Ravelry group, if you click play from the thread there, the post in the thread, you can watch it right there. And I don't know that those, well, I don't know that those are counted. I don't know. I would guess that you had to actually be on YouTube. Either way, a lot of views in less than a week, and I'm so excited. And I've had such great feedback from people, very, very positive, and I'm just so thankful to all of you who have taken the time to message me, and those of you podcasters who mentioned me in your episodes. I'm so grateful. I don't feel like I deserve it, but I'm so very thankful for it. So anyways, thank you to all of you. New to me podcasts that I've started watching: Knitting 365, like I mentioned before, with Helen and her cute dog Simon, and also Wolf Farms, and they actually have a website, wolffarms.net, and they have lotions and soaps and things like that. I haven't had a chance to try them yet, but I intend to, because it's natural, all natural products, and I really dislike using artificial perfumes and stuff if I don't have to. So and their prices are really good, and they have little sample sizes. So if you want to go check them out, I know they would appreciate it. Hold on one second. What? Well, if you want to get another cough drop, you can. This is Cayenne. She just woke up from bed. She has a little bit of a sore throat, so she's going to go get a throat drop. Can you say hi? Can you just wave? Nobody's really there. They aren't watching. Okay, go get a cough drop. Isn't she cute? Anyways, Wolf Farms. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be trying them out. Like I said, they have really good prices, and it's fun to watch their podcast. It's a husband and wife that that have this really fun banter back and forth. So anyway, also I watched Knitting in Circles, which I've heard about for a long time and finally got around. That's with Amy and Darren, and they're a lot of fun to watch as well. And I started watching Single-Handed Knits a couple weeks ago with Mel in Hawaii, and I decided to start at the beginning. I try to do that with all the new ones, and because I've been watching her a little bit longer than the other ones that I just mentioned, unless they've been going for years, but I try to go back at least some episodes to, kind of get a feel for the person and get a little backstory and things like that. So she's been a lot of fun to watch. She's super sweet, and how can you not love that you get to see Hawaii every time she's recording? So anyways, if you haven't heard of her, that's another great one to watch. I also wanted to make a correction from something that I said last week when I talked about the Farbenfro pattern that was gifted to me by Kimberly. I said the Giving Tree podcast, and it's actually the Giving Flower. In my head, I had said Giving Flower, and then she PM'd me and said that I had said Giving Tree, and that's actually the book that it was inspired by, The Giving Tree. So anyways, if you looked for it, I apologize. It's called The Giving Flower, and her daughter are very cute. So if you want to go check her out, that would be another fun one to watch. Last thing, the knit along with Lisa from 90% Knitting, Fiber Nymph, is it technically has kicked off, but because we're all of us that ordered the special colorway are still kind of waiting for that, it is technically going, like I said, but it hasn't really, I guess, kicked off because we haven't really cast on yet. She did dye up the yarn. She's sending it out on Friday when she does her shop update and everything. I don't know if she did all of it. She texted me and said that she had done the cowl dyeing. So anyways, I'm okay with her waiting until Friday because She has some Valentine's Day colors in self-striping yarn that I probably shouldn't be telling you about because you might go check it out and then I'll have to race you for it. But I have ninja. I have ninja clicking skills. Yeah, just saying. And she has some really fun other stuff that I'm not going to tell you. But fiber-related stuff, I mean, it's all fiber-related. Spinning fiber-related stuff that just watch her update episode this week so you can see the really fun ideas that she's come up with. So, all right. On to the knitting. I mean, it's all about knitting, but works in progress. Things that are on my needles. This section is actually whips / designing because every single thing that I have on the needles is something I'm designing. So 4 whips, 4 designs, 1 section this week. Okay, the first thing I'm going to talk about is Anansi skirt. I'm calling it the Anansi skirt. When / if I publish the pattern, it'll just be called Anansi skirt. So original, I know, but it's for her. It came to my brain because of her, and so if you remember last week, I was about here. I had 11.5 inches, well, maybe about here. Anyway, it was about 11.5 inches long, and I measured it right before I started recording, and it is 15 inches now. It has to be 17 before I bind off and put the edging on. I'm loving working on it. It's so easy, and tomorrow and Wednesday for the VKNs, I'll probably finish it. It's a great thing to work on when you're talking to people from other parts of the world because I really have to watch them talk because of their accents. I was actually teasing Briar, which you'll end up watching this, Briar. I know you will. I was giving her a hard time because sometimes I just flat out don't understand what she says. She's from New Zealand, and there are sometimes, and I think part of it is probably, it coming over, through the internet on the, through the connection on that. So anyways, it's super easy, and I've really been enjoying it. Like I said, I just have a couple more inches to go. This is out of Barocco Comfort DK in the Cartwheel colorway. I'm using size 6 4.0 millimeter needles. And I actually just started, you can see how nice and tight the new cake is. I just started the third skein of this. So I will absolutely have that 4th skein left. And I had one person respond and said that they think a little shrug is a good idea to add to this because I should have enough yarn, even if I just essentially make a rectangle and then just kind of sew it together to make the sleeves. I should have enough. So anyways, if you have any other ideas, let me know. But anyway, that's in my BSU bag. Next is my cursed cable socks. These have seen some action. Today was Sock It To Me Monday, which I've never heard of until I got active on Plurk. And I saw people putting SITMM. And I was like, what in the world? What does that mean? And then they just show these pictures of socks, but I didn't know what the initials stood for. And then someone typed out Sock It To Me Monday and then put a picture. I was like, oh, they work on their socks on Mondays. I love it. I always have socks on the needles. And it was a great way to get some progress done on this second sock because while I enjoy working on it, I'm looking forward to it being done because I have to turn around and knit it again, which I probably won't right away. I know I said that this would probably be out for testing in January, but I don't have second sock syndrome, but second pair syndrome of the exact same pattern I don't know that I could do. Plus, I have some self-striping that I really, really want to knit just plain, just to get some fun, just self-striping yarn. So yarn socks. So anyways, this will be released. This will be published. It just isn't necessarily going to be as quickly as I thought. Cayenne, why don't you go lay on my bed? Why don't you go lay on my bed? Yeah. Okay? Good night. She's going to go cuddle with Daddy for a while. So anyways, let me see if I can show you up close. Here is the yarn catching. So here's where the cable starts, and it wraps around your leg, which is why it sticks out kind of funny, but it won't when it's on you. Wraps around the leg, and then when you get to the foot, you just go straight up. You can see that here's the yarn for the afterthought heel, and I had just about this much done last week. You can see I'm already, I have 3 black stripes, and I have 1 row of the next green one, and I have to do 4 black stripes before starting the toe. So I'm getting really close. So anyways, these are out of the Fiber Nymph Dye Works Finders Keepers colorway in the bounce base on my signatures. I got some new point protectors. I lost the other one. I've found it since I decided to clean my living room, but I bought some new ones, and I like these. So alrighty. Moving along. Something that was not on the needles last week. Alright, let me tell you a little backstory. It's a new shawl, and it is a construction that I've never seen before and had never thought of before Wednesday of last week. This isn't something that I've been like playing with in my head or anything. When I decided to go to the Zombie Knitpocalypse, they are having a group knit along for a shawl that is green and either black, gray, or white, or all 4 of those, or any combination of those, but it has to have green in it for the whole, zombie thing. So I thought, okay, well, I'll look. And so I was going through my favorites in my queue and just going through Ravelry, but I don't really buy a lot of green yarn. I don't wear a lot of green. I don't dislike green. I just don't really wear it. I have 1 skein of green yarn in my stash from a club I was in. So I was just looking and looking, and I'm not going to tell you what yarn I'm going to use because it's kind of a secret. When I get it, I will show it to you and then tell you about it, but for now, it's a secret. So neener neener. Anyway, so I was thinking about what I was going to use, and then I thought, well, maybe I can design something. Good excuse to design something, right? So I was thinking along the lines of that I really enjoy the shawls that are sideways, that are essentially on the percentage system, because you can utilize all of your yarn. And so I thought, well, I don't know if I necessarily want to go half then half, so maybe I'll go like 1/3 and then 1/3 straight and then 1/3 small. But then I was like, well, it doesn't matter everything, but I was like, well, I'll have to mess with that a little bit, because if you have it even thirds, the sides would be longer than the middle because it would be wider. Anyways, that doesn't matter. So I was thinking about that, and I was driving to meet one of my students to drop off the yarn tour, and I got on the freeway, and there was 6 miles between the on-ramp that I had just used to get on and the off-ramp that I was going to be getting off with. And about a mile before that off-ramp, because I had been thinking about, shawl, all of a sudden, like, I remember the sign that I was underneath, the mile marker sign and stuff. I had this idea, and like I said, it's not a construction that I've ever seen, and it's a lot of fun, I think. I haven't gotten to the second part of it yet. I'm still figuring out what stitch pattern I want to use. It can be a 2-color shawl or a single color. One part of it can be variegated. If you're doing a 2-color, one part can be variegated and one part can be solid, which is what I'm doing. So I'm sorry I'm being kind of vague. I want to get it finished and knit up before I show you, or tell you all the details about it, because it might not work. I'm pretty sure it will, but there's always the chance when you design something that it's not going to work. So I am going to show you though the first part and the yarn that I'm using, and the yarn I'm using for the second part, so you can at least get an idea of what it's going to look like, kind of. I know, I'm sorry, totally vague. So the first color I'm using is Castle Fibers sock in the Sylvan Lake Weekend colorway. Here's what it looks like knit up. There's blues and greens and browns. Yeah, and it's not solid of any of them, just kind of comes and goes. And it's not the greatest to knit with, I'm not gonna lie. It's not the greatest to use, but I know that it'll relax when I soak it and look a lot better. So I'm not too worried about it. This was a gift from a friend of mine when she was traveling. I asked her to grab me something cool while she was out, and this is something that was local to where she was. So anyways, not her fault, not, you know, it's just not to my, I just don't enjoy knitting with it a whole lot. So, but anyways, the colors are really nice, and like I said, I know it's gonna work up really well. The color that I'm using for the solid isn't really a solid; it's a semi-solid, but it's close enough. It's this, whoa, it's not, there we go. This darker blue. It's not quite a navy. It's a little bit lighter than a navy blue, but see the two of them together? Won't that look nice? So anyway, I plan to work on this some more during the week. One part of it I can finish maybe tomorrow during the VKN, but it's the part that goes with the blue that I'm just not quite sure of yet. So anyways, hopefully next week I'll have it done and can show you, and you'll say, oh, all right. Anyway, sorry. I'm going to stop saying sorry now. Last thing on the needles is my sweater, and I actually worked on it this week. If you'll remember, I was at the part where I was going to do the waist detail, and I hadn't figured out I needed to figure out where the stitches went within the stitch count, but because it's the back, I had to figure out how it would fall with the front pieces too and not make those end up weird. So even though I'm designing just the back piece right now, I had to design the whole thing in that section to make it all, you know, line up right and everything. So there was some math involved and some drawing out of things. And when it comes to knitting math, I tend to draw it out more than just math problem type setups, because then it gives me a visual of how it's going to work up, and it works really well. So if you remember, I'm using the Robusta base from Briar Rose. Here's one of the balls of yarn. There's two of them going because I'm alternating skeins every other row so that there's no pooling or anything like that. She doesn't name her colorways. This is just 2006. And without further ado, here's what I have. You can see the waist detail. Oh, let's pull this back so the light doesn't go crazy. This color really makes the camera do funky things. But I don't know if you can see that there's the garter ridges, and then there's just these little cables. What it's going to do is bring the waist in without having to increase and decrease for the shaping. It's just going to give that to you, and it's also going to be kind of a faux belt look. So anyway, it works up really easy, and even if somebody doesn't like cables or whatever, there's just a few, and it's just one row that you do the cables on. So, you know, even if you hate cables, you can manage to, you know, do 8 of them or 10 of them over the course of just one row. So hold on a second. Go lay down, Kaya. Sorry about that again. She has a really hard time going back to bed if she gets up in the middle of the night, but she said her leg was hurting, so I asked her to lay down and I'll go talk to her when I'm done. So anyway. Alrighty, and I'm knitting that. Oh, I didn't say my shawl is on size 6, 4.0 millimeter. My cursed cable socks are on size 1, which is 2.25 millimeter, and my sweater is on size 9, which is 5.5 millimeter. All right, that's all for my works in progress. On to finished objects. First off, I have here is the dishcloth that I was knitting last week for the swap that I'm doing. It is done, and very cute pattern. Oh good, it's showing up. You can see all those hearts. It was really easy. It's quite large, as you can see. It's a 10 by 10 square, but very easy. Free pattern on Ravelry. Well, the pattern actually links you to someone's blog, which was nice because I could do it on my phone. I did the Chrome to phone thing, and it sent my phone the link, and I could just go right on there. So that way I didn't have to worry about printing it off, or you know, while I was watching podcasts or whatever, I could just pull it up on my phone. And what else was nice is the gal that wrote it up, you purl back every other row, or knit across, excuse me, every other row. So the pattern row, she put them in groups of 10. So 42 through 50, you know, would be on one, and then 52 through 60, and she put a space in between them, so it was easier to follow. So anyway, I thought that was really nice. I knit that on size 3 needles, which I think is 3.25 millimeter. I didn't write that down. And this is just some peaches and cream cotton. This will be mailed off no later than Friday because U.S. shipping costs are going up. So that is going to be going off. I have some other goodies in a box already that I'm putting together to send that out in. So the other FO that I have is my chevron socks. I have not worn them yet. They have been hanging in my bathroom. They dried, and then I just left them hanging in there. I didn't want to be tempted. So here they are. I'm very excited to finally have them now that I've had them technically on the needles for 1.5 years. Whatever. Anyway, they're done. And they are designed by me, and it will be up for testing sooner than later because they're actually done, and I don't have to change anything about them. I just have to write it up and take some pictures. This is out of Damselfly Yarns, Sturdy Sheep, in the carnelian colorway, and I crossed my L so it looks like carnation. Do you ever do that? You get going fast and just... Anyway, carnelian colorway. I did these on size 1.5 needles, which is larger than my normal, but the chevron pattern sucks it in, like I've said before, which that's a 2.5 millimeter. So anyway, so happy to have these done. I will probably wear them tomorrow. Sorry about the clicking there. Anyway, I tied them together so that I don't lose them, and because when they're attached, I can put them over the shower curtain rod like this, and it keeps them apart so they'll dry but holds them together at the same time. And it's just a piece of yarn. Anyway, so very happy with those. Those are all my FOs. Moving along to spinning. Just today I finished the merino silk that I was working on last week that I was like, oh, I'll totally just finish it today because I've been on such a spinning kick. No. My spinning kick kind of stopped for a while. Not sure why. I started knitting on stuff, and then I took my wheel with me yesterday to my dad's house and spun during the I caught just the very end of the 49ers game and then spun during the Ravens Patriots game. So I'm not a huge NFL fan, but I I knew a few more things this year, and kind of had an interest in a couple of things, but I'm not one that dedicates really much time to the NFL. College football, love. NFL, I will watch the Super Bowl though, because even though he led his team to beat us a couple years ago, I really like Colin Kaepernick, and I'm super excited for him because he's a really fun quarterback to watch. And if any of you are disagreeing, that's fine. But I remember when he was at the University of Nevada, and anyway, like I said, I hate that he led his team to beating us being Boise State. But you have to recognize talent when you see it. So anyways, and if any of you are Tampa Bay Buccaneer fans, Doug Martin, who's amazing, Bronco. Anyway, I am going to show you, it is still very wet. I had it hanging, I mean it's wet, but this is the Sassy Sheep 50/50 Merino Silk in the Love Potion colorway. I ended up getting 237 yards, so I base my weight off of what a commercial skein contains for the weight, and worsted weight skeins are 4 ounces and usually between 200 and 220 yards. So with this being 237, it's just a touch smaller than normal worsted. So just on the lighter side. Here's how it turned up. Oh, the color's not showing up well. I just wanted to show you how it kind of barber poled and didn't, and it's red and purple and black, and it's not colors that I would have bought, and it's fine, it's pretty. What I'm thinking about doing is using it as a gift. I have someone in mind who likes these colors, and so I think I'll probably just knit it and give it away, which is totally fine with me. And that's one of the fun things about getting a mystery grab bag. And like I said, I have a friend who will love it, so why not pass it along? You know what I mean? Is that all the spinning I have? Oh, I did want to talk about what I'm going to be spinning next. This is some alpaca that I bought in November. There's a kind of tour bus thing that I go on every year called the Holiday Trolley, and the organizer sets up different bazaars that we go to throughout the day. It's like 15 bucks, and we meet all together in the morning and split up into the big 15-passenger vans. And like I said, she has the map, has it all mapped out, which craft bazaar, Christmas bazaar, things we're gonna go to. She provides snacks and lunch, and she has door prize drawings, and just all sorts of fun stuff. And anyways, we went to a Christmas show just in the town over the town I grew up in, actually. And there were, the normal vendors with the, the jewelry and the, the work at home businesses and wood, hand carved wood stuff. And then somebody walked over to me and said, "There's a lady spinning over there." And I went, "What? There's a spinner?" Because I had been in this half, she was in this half over here, and I was like, "What? Where? What are you talking about?" And she's like, "They're like back in the back corner. There's a lady sitting at a spinning wheel." And like they came to me knowing that I would be interested. So I just made a beeline. I told my friend Amanda, I was like, "Do you mind if we just walk quickly and scan and then make our way back there?" She's like, "No, I'm surprised you're even going to look at stuff as we walk by." I did glance as we went by and stopped at one booth really quick. Turned around the corner, and sure enough, there she was, sitting there spinning, and I went, "Oh, a spinner!" And she says, "Yeah," and she kind of started to describe what she was doing. I was like, "Don't worry, I have a wheel." And I told her I had a sidekick, and she's like, "Oh, I've been wanting to try one of those." And anyways, it was two ladies who were sharing the booth. One was a spinner, and one, she had something else that wasn't yarn related, but the spinner was selling some of her hand spun, way underpriced, but that's not for me to, not my concern. But anyway, she was selling some of her hand spun, and I said, I said, this is great, but do you have fiber? Because they didn't have any sitting out. And the one who wasn't spinning, the other lady, she says, well, I have this. And she kind of reached back in the corner and she pulled these out. And, well, she had like 2 or 3 of each. And I said, sorry, I just got totally, these are alpaca that she raises, and she washes the fleece and then sells it, and it's $2 an ounce or $20 a pound. And this one is 1.4 ounces from the alpaca named Two Socks, and this one is 1.3 ounces from Amaretta. And she did a great job cleaning it and carding it. There's a little bit of VM, vegetable matter, here and there, but cheatgrass, you can't get 100% of it out, and I'm not worried about it. I can pull it out as I spin it. But my hands are getting really hot just sitting here holding this. My plan is to spin them up as singles and then ply them together. Don't you think those will look so good? This natural kind of caramely camel color and this natural dark brown. Oh. Anyway, so I decided to spin these next. I haven't ever spun 100% alpaca before, so I'm anxious for the new adventure. But anyway, if you have any suggestions for me or tips or tricks that you want to pass on to me about spinning alpaca, let me know. I'm more than willing to listen or read or whatever. Oh, glad I found this. That was a lady that I wanted to talk to after that day. Anyways, so now I have alpaca floating in my mouth. Oh, I didn't realize. I just remembered. It's called Wildwood Ranch, and there's no website, but it's SGDE Wright, like the last name Wright, at gmail.com. I don't know if my autofocus, like I've told you, is pretty much crap, but anyways, if you wanted to contact her, I'm sure she'd be willing to mail it to you. So anyway, good price, really nice product, and I'm actually considering getting a whole fleece from her. And if any of you want to split one with me, maybe we could get a dark and a light and split them. Anyway, I don't know. Talk to me if you're interested. They're cheap. All right. Moving along. Talked about spinning. Acquisitions. This is not just a week of, oh, look at this one thing I got. This is a week of, here's the acquisitions section of the podcast. We'll see how quickly I can get through it, because I have to gush about every single thing I got, because it's amazing. Anyway, the first thing I'm going to show you is the bag that my sweater's in. Yeah, look how huge it is. Like, I'm going to hold it up next to me here. Look at this. This is from Lois of Knitting's My Bag. I have heard so many people raving about her bags, and was on Plurk at the right time when she said, I put up 4 bags, sweater size bags, and I went, oh, and I went and bought this. And it actually showed up last week while the podcast was uploading, so that's why you didn't get to see it before. But it's not that orange. It's actually very pink. Yeah, that's not going to help, but it's not that orangey at all. It's a very just pretty kind of a dark pink. What I like about it is it has the drawstring. It also has a nice handle that has a rope inside of it. And it also has some pockets down on the inside in here that have interfacing in them, so they're nice and stiff. This not only can fit the 2 big balls of yarn and the sweater as I'm working on it. I had a spiral notebook and a stitch pattern book in here, and there was still room. So you can see this corner because the balls kind of are diagonal. So there's quite a bit of room. If I remember correctly, her listing said 17 inches tall by 16 inches wide. I couldn't resist. And I think it's 3 or 4 inches here. So anyway, it's awesome. Next, I got my Twisted Limon sock yarn in the rhubarb colorway after waiting for 2.5 weeks. Oh, that's not going to come up right. It's not orange at all. It's very, very vibrant pink. I wonder if... No. Dang it. It's a really awesome pink. Very just pink. Very, very pink. So maybe as when I knit it up, if you go somewhere else, then you'll find it. Cayenne's up again. What are you wanting to play, Cayenne? Okay, that'll get you the jungle junkies, but go somewhere else. Will you go downstairs or go sit by the heater? Okay. Oh. Okay. Sorry again. I'm a mom, what can I say? So she's just going to hang out while I finish, and then I will take her to bed. Pick your battles, and don't judge me. She'll be fine, I promise. Anyway, rhubarb, 3-color. It's awesome. 437 yards. And like I said, Twisted Limon on Etsy. Her updates are every Saturday. I think around noon, my time, which is mountain time. And it's twistedlimondesigns.etsy.com. So, and Karen is really nice. But her updates go pretty quickly, but she usually has kind of a few that stick around for a little while. So she's not, sold out instantaneously, but it still is pretty quick. So anyway, still going. Isn't it awesome? I got this this week from Fiber Addiction, Emily, and she's super sweet. And I ordered it quite a while ago, but I had not quite a while ago, like 2 weeks ago, but I had asked her to dye up some fiber for me, and I told her I wasn't in a hurry, so that she didn't have to stress out. I have yarn, so I wasn't too worried about it. So anyway, firstly, I got 2 skeins of Winter Storm Warning. This is on her worsted weight organic merino base. And I just love it. Ooh, let's keep it to real colors. There's blues and kind of a purpley brown and grays. Anyway, really pretty. She had 2 skeins in stock, and I was like, heck yeah, I'm taking both of those, because now I can for sure get a hat and mittens and possibly even one of my, like a weekend retreat neck wrap, one of my patterns, or any other, a cowl of some sort. I don't know how much yardage I'll have left, but I'm considering designing with these, but I need to knit it up and see kind of how it behaves when it's knit. This is 220 yards, like I said, worsted weight. So anyway, there's that one. The other yarn that I got from her is in her bulky 100% merino. Oh, that's showing up really nicely. That's very, very close. It's a little, the browns show up a little bit more in person, but that's really accurate on there though. Yeah, I'd say that's accurate. This is the Bad Ash colorway, and these aren't, I love gray. I mean, there's a blue gray and kind of a brown gray, and then a brown with kind of these lighter pops of green. I don't know if you can, oh, there you go. You can see that, how it has, and they're not very often, just kind of that lighter pop of green, and then you'll get that little bit of tan every so often. And these, I mean, these are kind of manly colors, but I couldn't stop looking at it. I just kept going back and kept going back, and I was like, I have to get it. I don't know what I'm going to make. I lied. I have an idea of what I'm going to make. I found a pattern that's actually like a little shrug, short-sleeved shrug, that calls for 175 to 180 yards of bulky, and this is 180 yards. So this is a very generous amount of bulky yarn, and it retails for 16 bucks. I got it for 20% off because she had a sale going on, but still, I would have paid 16 for it because you get almost as much as what you get in a worsted weight skein. So I liked this color so much, I said, hey, can you put that on some fiber for me? And she said, sure, what kind of fiber? And she gave me a couple of options, and I picked the Falkland because I've never spun Falkland. And here is what it looks like. Isn't that beautiful? Let's see if I can turn it around here. I love how it has the, you know, it has the lighter blue with the greens and the browns. It has a little bit of a red-brown here. And then there's that kind of pop of the lighter color again. And all of that mixed in with this. I love that there's the lighter, and then it goes back to the darker again. And then this this brown blue turned a little bit of a purple, and then goes down to a kind of a blue-gray. I love this. Like I said, I've never spun Falkland before. It's not the softest, but all wool softens up from just being, you know, sitting like this after you fluff it and, you know, prep it a little bit, and then when you spin it, and then, you know, you can soak it in some wool wash, and that usually softens it up as well. So anyway, I'm really, really looking forward to spinning this and seeing how the colors all interact with each other. So anyway, and I know she did have a couple more of these in her shop. She dyed up a few. She had some on her merino base. I don't remember if it's superwash or not. Sorry, Emily, I don't remember. But anyway, go check her shop out. And she did a fiber update last week, and she did a yarn update just today. Recently. So go look. Fiber addiction. And because I answered a question of hers on Plurk, she sent me some mini bats. I have 2 of these with all these bright, fun colors and sparkles. And then I have, look at how beautiful this one is. Oh, so pretty and sparkly. I'm going to practice core spinning. I'm going to do these 2 first because they're not pretty like this is. So I'm going to do these first and then like work my way up to this. And then I have some Angora that I want to try core spinning with after I master these. So if you have any tips on core spinning, let me know. All right. One more acquisition and then we can call it good. Do you all remember last week when I was talking about the sassy sheep and told you, begged you, asked you to stop the podcast and go buy the rainbow braid so that I wouldn't buy it? Do you all remember? Well, one of you, and you know who you are, was very obedient and went and bought that braid. And then on Thursday night, came to knit night and gave it to me. I don't have permission from her to give her name, but you know who you are, and thank you so much. This is merino cashmere. Let's see. 80% superwash merino, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon in the Katie's Rainbow colorway. This is 4 ounces. Oh, if I can turn it the right way. Look at that! It's a progressive. Um, some people call it gradient, but usually a gradient is just different shades of the same color. This is a progressive. I do intend on spinning it just like this, one color to the next, and then Navajo ply it so I can get really, really long color repeats. And I was just so excited when she walked in. I was happy that she was there, and then she pulls it out and says, "Here you go," just tosses it on my lap, and I went, "Oh, seriously?" I said, "I knew it had been bought, but I had no idea that it was for me, you know. I just wanted somebody to buy it, so I didn't." So thank you so much. And yeah, I'm very excited. I have decided to wait until the retreat that I'm going to in March, because the Sassy Sheep will be there, and it's always fun to, you know, spin their stuff while they're there. It's so squishy, and I've never spun cashmere before, so this will be fun. Look at that. Oh, so pretty. Anyway, if by any chance you're interested in that retreat that I've talked about, I put a link in my episode 5. So if you're interested in that, for any of you new viewers, I am going to a retreat March 1st through the 3rd in Cascade, Idaho. It is through my local yarn store. She puts it on, but it's not exclusive to the people that go to that store. It's open for anyone. There's going to be a vendor marketplace, and it's only $198. That includes food and lodging and all the knitting you can manage to do from Friday at 4 until Sunday at noon-ish. We leave between 12 and 2. And if you are able to come, if you want to come, but you're concerned about how to get there from the airport, you would fly into Boise, which is the capital. Not with a Z, with an S, Boise. Anyway, if you can fly into there and let me know that you're coming, either I myself or one of us that are driving will not only pick you up from the airport, we will take you the hour and a half up to the retreat with us, and we will make sure you get back to the airport. The only thing you'll have to do is help, you know, pay for gas, which is not a lot because it really is just an hour and a half. So, yeah, like I said, $198. Food, lodging. There are classes available if you want to take them. There's some spinning classes, dyeing classes, and knitting and weaving. I don't think there are any crochet classes this year. Vendor marketplace with the Sassy Sheep. Love them. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions. I will, again, because there are so many of you that are new, I will post a link, because the shop is called Puffy Mondays, but it's spelled kind of weird, and it's a weird name for a shop. We have so much fun. Not a ton of people go. Last year there were about 50, but we get to stay in the cabins this year, and the cabins are essentially fully furnished houses. So you're not roughing it by any means. It's beautiful, it's snowy, it looks like a ski resort, and it's stunning. So if, like I said, if you want any more information, let me know. And I would love for any of you to come if you can. Yeah. Lastly, this that I'm wearing is my Color Affection shawl, like everyone else has. I will pull it off here so you can see. Woo, bright orange. It's cold. I used Shibui sock for all the colors. So it goes from this kind of mushroom gray color into a dark orange and into a dark blue. And then there's blue at the bottom. I did not choose these colors because they're BSU colors. I love it that they are, but the gal that was helping me pick them, this is just kind of what we ended up with, and we both went, "Oh, it's gorgeous!" And then I went, "It's orange and blue." So anyway, I love it. I love the pattern. I've actually made it twice and gifted the other one. I probably will make more of these in the future. When I see yarns, I have started just kind of grouping them into 3s. So anyways, I am going to end this before it ends up being an hour long. It takes so much longer to upload when it's an hour, and I need to get Kai into bed. So please join our group. on Ravelry and join in the knit along. Even if you don't have the yarn yet, you can still get the pattern. Lisa will be having an update on Friday, so you can get something else instead. She has semi-solid special orders that you can do. So anyways, please jump in on that and let me know if you ever have any questions or feedback or anything specific you want me to talk about. Yeah. So until next time, have a wonderful week and keep knitting. Bye.